Again, I'd like to thank everyone for listening in to the Workamping Q&A session. Again, I'm Jody Anderson-Duquette here with Workamper News. And if you're not familiar with Workamper News, we are the entity that created the term Workamping back in 1987. And my family has been operating Workamper News since about 2005. So I've been working with work campers and the businesses that hire work campers for about 17 or so years now. Myself and my husband operate Workamper News along with 3 other gals in our office. We are actually a membership organization, small business, so you can actually call and talk to real humans, and we're happy to help you out. But my husband and I were RVers ourselves. We're on our 3rd RV now. We've been full-time RVers, part-time RVers, so we've lived this awesome lifestyle as well. But primarily we just work on the operations of Workamper News. So what really we are focused on, if you're not yet a member of workamper.com, obviously I'd love for you to join and check it out. We have free resources and memberships as well, yearly memberships. So we have the most job listings that you'll find anywhere for work campers, as well as the most robust ways to search and narrow them down. We have a really great resume builder tool, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. I promise this isn't going to just be a commercial for Workamper News. We'll talk a lot about what we offer, but I'm going to give you guys a lot of meat too, because what we really feel passionate about is helping you guys understand this lifestyle. The more you know, the more confidence you're going to have, and the more likely you are going to be more successful and find the opportunities that are a good match for you. So hopefully, this all is a positive experience, because that's really our goal at the end of the day. So lots of education that we want to provide you guys as well. We do these webinars, we have videos, articles, our online magazine, some online courses as well. So lots to dive into to really immerse yourself in this whole work camping thing. It can be a really great lifestyle. You certainly can encounter a lot of challenges and hurdles along the way. So we want to be here to support you guys and help you as best we can. So please check us out online if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and dive into your questions. We'll easily spend an hour or so talking about all these great questions that you guys submitted. So, okay, diving in, this person had obviously a newbie and just a lot going on in their mind, and getting excited and going. So this person had a lot of different questions that'll kind of bounce us around a little bit. So this person says, best ways to advertise myself, questions to ask potential employers, what things should I consider before committing to a job, how do I know if I'm prepared enough? So, yeah, exactly. These are all things, that folks new to the lifestyle, just exploring this lifestyle, are asking themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my internet browser, as there is going to be, I can give you guys some visuals as we're talking about a lot of these things. So here's workamper.com. Like I said, this is our online home. And so once you become a member, we have 3 membership levels. The gold level membership is really just focused on the education. The diamond level membership is what's best for most people. It's $47 for 1 year right now. We are working on a complete revamp of workamper.com behind the scenes. So if you hear me say like some weird things like that, and that's why. So if you are watching this later on in 2024 or late 2023, the website's going to look totally different. But we're going to talk about how the website is today. So the diamond level membership, $47 for 1 year, that's really going to be best for those who are like 6 to 10 months away from wanting to start a work camping position, or you're already work camping. That's going to be a good level. Our platinum level, really the main difference between the diamond and the platinum is on your resume. When you enter in a work camping job that you have completed, you can request, and we will contact that employer and say, hey, did Jane Doe work for you this date to this date? And if they say yes, then we'll mark that as a verified work history entry on your resume in our system. And that's just taking some of the legwork out for the employers, and thus making you, look like a more kind of upper echelon candidate. Like, hey, they have this verified work history on their resume already. Cool beans. It just kind of adds a little, star to your resume. So that's really the main difference between Diamond and Platinum at this point. So like I said, a lot of folks can start out with the Diamond. We do have a free 30-day trial. You're welcome to play around with all of that for 30 days free before jumping into a yearly membership. Or we do offer all of our job listings for free. So you can do the 30-day trial, let that lapse, revert back to our free intro. Then you can turn the hotline email back on. So you're getting the daily hotline jobs email. The job listings will just be from 14 days ago instead of the new jobs for that day. You won't be able to search the hotline jobs page, but you will still also have access to our magazine archive on the website, which has over 100 issues, and in each issue is job listings organized by state. So anyway, so we do offer all of our job listings for free, just like I said, on a delayed basis with the hotline email. But the upper level memberships offers you, really the robust toolkit for finding Workamping jobs. Like, you'll see reviews on employers just one click away from an ad listing, and we'll get into it more. But the first question that this person asked was best ways to advertise yourself. So what we recommend is, as a Workamper and doing, it's kind of a game, and you sort of have to develop your own strategy for finding these Workamping gigs. And some Workampers, like I said, will start months in advance looking for their future Workamping positions. If you want to, wait and go a little more like fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing and just pick up jobs, starting sooner, that's fine too. That might limit you a little bit in the availability of what's out there, but there are always positions that have a more immediate start date in our system for sure. So you just kind of have to develop your strategy, revise it as you go along and as you're trying different things and seeing what best works for you. But you want to be reviewing the job listings that are out there, as well as putting yourself out there and marketing yourself to employers, because there are employers that some advertise their jobs, and that's the only way they go about finding their Workampers. Others will search our resume database and our situation wanted ads, and that's how they find all of their Workampers. They never advertise. So if you're only using one of the two-pronged approach, you are missing out on some opportunities, okay? So with workamper.com, you can create a resume and build a resume to be available in our database. And our database is only available to our paid Employer Gold members. They pay for a membership to access the resume database. Unlike other websites, we are not posting your information on the open internet for anyone in the world to find. So your data is safer here on our website. So once you become a member and you get logged in, you're taken to your dashboard page here, which has all of these orange buttons and neat columns and rows. These are the main tools of your membership. So if we click on the Resume Builder button, it's going to open the Resume Builder tool. It's a step-by-step tool. You guys just fill in the blanks. We try to make it, easy. Some of you guys haven't made a resume in a long, long time, so it's like, what do I even put in this thing? So we take you step-by-step through the process. In this Sell You section is where you can type up more about yourself, what your skills are, what you're looking for, what you're hoping for with this lifestyle, what you bring to the table. We do have a view sample button here if you'd like to take a look at a sample just to kind of get some ideas on what to include in this section. We also have a photo section that you can use or not use, up to you. And you are also welcome if you record a video introducing yourself, you can put it on your YouTube channel and then put the link to that video in here, and we will embed that video on your resume. So once you fill out all the different sections of the Resume Builder, we take all of that data and compile it into this nice looking resume. And employers have multiple different search fields that they use to search the resume database on, and then they can pull up as many resumes as they want. They'll have your contact information, so they'll contact you directly if they, decide they're interested in communicating with you. But you can include your Workamping work history or other work history that you've had in the past. It's up to you. I wouldn't get too carried away listing like all of your work history that you've done since you were, 14 years old when you had your first job. You most want to include, the past jobs, past experiences, etc., that give you skills that would apply to the types of jobs that you're interested in applying for. So we'll talk a little bit more about resume content with a later question, but definitely get in here, create your resume. As long as you are updating your resume every 6 months, it can be available in the database. If at any point in time, you can easily hide it just by checking this box. If you're like, oh, I don't want to be contacted by employers right now, let's hide that resume, you can always hide it. You need to fill out at least the first 4 sections: applicant availability, settings, locations, in order for your resume to be available in the database. And the more often you update, the more frequently you'll appear towards the top of employer search results, because by default, when employers do a search, it shows the most recently updated resumes first. So when you are actively pursuing your next position, I would just kind of make it a regular habit every day or every few days. Just come in here, open the resume builder. You can just keep it open in a tab in your internet browser on your phone, just come in here and click the save button. You've updated your resume and change that last updated date to today's date. So definitely have your resume out there working for you. Once you accept a position for, whatever your availability date is on your resume, come in here, change your settings, your availability date, your locations for the next time period that you're available. We have some employers that are now recruiting for 2024 into, I think I saw as far ahead as 2027. So you can be utilizing this resume to be working for you all the time. Another option that you have to sort of jump up and down in front of employers and say how awesome you are is to run a situations wanted ad. And that's just a little blurb like, hey, we're so-and-so and we are, super skilled at customer service and computer and such and such and such and such and such. We're interested in working in these locations for this time period. We'd really be an asset to your company. Please contact us. So you can type up a little, spiel like that, up to 75 words, and run that. We'll post it on the website for employers to see and search. And so just another way, like I said, to kind of get in front of employers. These ads runs for 2 months at a time, so it does work a decent amount of time for you. And just make a little note in your calendar after you submit one, 2 months later, go in and submit another one, either, for the same time period because you haven't found a job yet, or like I said, update that for the next period of time that you're going to be available. So those are 2 items that you can utilize to be working for you all the time. Of course, some of you guys maybe are on this webinar because you saw my posts on, some Workamping Facebook groups and stuff like that. And there are other websites that are out there. But again, I just caution you on sites that are just open to the internet. Just be cautious with sharing your information, where you're located, details about your life, etc. Just because you never know who's lurking online. And Facebook is tough because of the algorithm. So yes, you can post in Facebook groups and say, here I am, I'm looking for jobs and I'm awesome, here's my resume or whatever. But understand that your post may or may not even be displayed to employers. If an employer that's using Facebook isn't active with that group, they're not going to be seeing posts in their news feed. And the way that posts are shown in the group depends on the user's activity in the group and stuff. So it's hard to be consistent with marketing yourself when you're working against this algorithm that acts differently for every single person that uses it. So it's definitely, an option that's out there. And, if you can handle inputs and managing your data in all of those locations and keeping it consistent, then cool, add that to your strategy. And like I said, you guys are gonna, try some different ways and do some different things, and after some time, you'll just have to see what works best for you as far as your strategy and tactics that you want to do. Okay, so the next question that this person had was, what are questions to ask potential employers? And that's something that's really important. You want to make sure that you are getting as much information that you can about this opportunity so that you can make the decision on whether you think it's going to be right for you or not. And it's easy, especially when you're new, to like not know what to ask, or maybe you're so excited, you know, you're talking to the employer, whether it's the owner, manager, or an HR person or whatever, and you both end up being like, oh, you know, we both really like watching this TV show, and then you end up talking about this TV show for 20 minutes, or the sports team for 20 minutes, or the weather for 2 hours, or you know, something like that, and then you're like, oh crap, I just took all this time and I don't even, you know what the schedule is going to be like and how they're going to pay me and all this stuff. So make sure that you develop a list of questions and either print those out or have it in a digital document or something, so you don't forget to ask things. And so what to ask, that's a very good question. So at workamper.com, we have what's called our article index, and in here, of course, is just a bunch of text articles. So there are multiple categories here in the article index. So I'm going to expand on the job finding tools category. And the first, I put this at the top because it's one of our more popular articles, questions to ask to employers to enhance expectations. And so we've just kind of grouped, these aren't like all the questions you have to ask. It's just take a look and make sure, take out the questions that are like, oh yeah, I definitely want these questions asked. Some of the questions may not apply to you or may not matter to you. So, but go ahead and go through this list and take a look. It's just really important to determine, of course, what your schedule is going to be, what the duties are that you're going to be expected to do, because you may or may not want to do those things, or you may or may not be physically capable of doing those things. So you need to know, like I said, so you can, everybody can make the best decision here. So yeah, finding out if an RV site is being provided to you, if it's you're working so many hours and trade for that site, or if it's just being provided to you as part of the compensation. Are you paying for that RV site on top of earning wages? What is the site fee going to be for you? Is that going to change at all throughout the time that you're there? Where is the RV site? How close is it to my work area? Is it large enough for my RV? Does it have the right hookups for my RV? Is it completely surrounded by trees and I'm a satellite, internet user or satellite TV enthusiast? I gotta have my, clear skies. So pets, do you allow pets? Is there certain breeds of dog that aren't okay because of your insurance? So just lots of different questions. What's in the local area? Are you someone who, receives a lot of packages or prescriptions by mail? Are you able to get mail there while you're at that location? Where's the nearest hospital, if that's something that's important to you? If you are someone who has to go buy a coffee made by somebody else every day, is that available nearby? So you have to just kind of know yourself as well and what's important to you and what's not important to you. So definitely a lot of different questions to ask, but it is really important to get as much information as you can ahead of time to make that decision. And there are a couple other articles, questions to ask 2, and there's another one down here, questions to ask 1. And as you guys see, there's a lot of other articles here to help you with content in your resume. And then, other sections too, getting started work camping. We talk about mail, domicile, figuring the true cost of work camping, putting a price tag on perks. And that's something to do as well. And where's that article? I think I put it in job finding, doing the math on a work camping opportunity. So once you guys have the details, and sometimes in help wanted ads, you'll get a pretty good idea of, time frame, general compensation, etc. But as far as getting details on like non-monetary perks that you might receive, whatnot, like you will likely have to have a conversation with that employer to get that sort of information. Oftentimes, when a campsite is provided, okay, does that include electricity, or am I paying extra for electricity? Does that come with cable TV? Is there Wi-Fi that I'll be able to utilize? Will my Wi-Fi be better? Because, some campgrounds offer like different packages of Wi-Fi speeds now. So are you getting I can maybe open a website and check my email Wi-Fi, or are you getting I can stream a TV show Wi-Fi? There's definitely a difference there sometimes. So is there laundry facilities on site? Will I have to pay for that? Maybe you're going to spot me $10 a week towards, laundry, or maybe I get to use it for free. Like that could be, a $20 a month value to you to not have to, pay a coin laundry to do your laundry. Propane, is it given to you at a discount? Is it, free for you or whatever? Are there discounts being offered in the local area? Are you able to use facilities like maybe they have rental boats or kayaks or golf carts or tours or whatever? Do you get to utilize those amenities? Is there activities going on and you get to participate in the activities? Like there's a lot of things that can have, you might be able to determine a dollar value assigned to it, but some of it's kind of intangible and you can't necessarily assign a wage to it. But take a look at this article about doing the math on a work camping job. It'll kind of help you, think about doing the math, especially when it's a trade out situation where you're working so many hours in trade for an RV site. You definitely want to, try to get the details so you can do the math to determine what your hourly wage ends up equating to. If you are going to work in a campground, you do not want to end up paying more, whether it's paying via your work hours or paying money coming out of your paycheck, or you're writing a check for your RV site. You never want to pay more than what a normal camping customer would be paying for that site, okay? And with the trade out, it's also going to kind of depend on what the duties are. If you are working and you're doing maintenance, like you're painting and you're cleaning and you're mowing and you're constantly doing things, like that's certainly a more rigorous, consistent position that has some heavier duties. So if that's what you're doing, or are you sitting in a gatehouse waving at people as they drive in and drive out, maybe answering some questions, helping somebody with the machine if the fee machine is being fussy or something, but you're basically chilling in an air-conditioned booth for most of the day. So if the trade out equates to $8 an hour and you're just chilling in that fee booth, that may be a pretty good deal for you. But if it works out to $8 an hour and you're doing all of this physical labor, and maybe you're even doing some electrical or some light plumbing, or you're working 40 hours a week in an office that's nonstop because people are checking in and buying stuff and phone calls and computer, then that $8 an hour probably isn't going to be fair if it's a very rigorous position. So lots of things to consider, you guys, and I know I'm kind of rabbit trailing here. That's going to happen, so please just be prepared for that, because there's so much to tell you guys, and I want to tell you all the things right now, but I'll try to reel it in a little bit. Okay, so we were talking about questions to ask an employer when interviewing, so hopefully that gives you a good place to go to get some questions and just start kind of swirling some ideas. Okay, her next question was, what things should I consider before committing to a job? We've kind of talked about that a little bit. You want to make sure you understand, the schedule and the compensation and the duties, etc. All of those things, and the environment. So you want to have all of those details so then you can consider if that's right for you or not. Because everybody's budget is going to be a little different. So whether or not you need to work a position that pays for all hours worked and provides an RV site, or if you can just work in trade for an RV site, you don't need to earn monetary wages, that's something you have to figure out based on your own personal financial needs and what you're expecting with this lifestyle. Also, just where you want to be is something to definitely consider as well. Especially maybe if you're a family, if you're traveling with multiple people, like what are the preferences of all of you, and you want to try and get on the same page there. If you are a family and you maybe have smaller kids with you, you may want to go work in an operation like a larger campground, or maybe an amusement park, or somewhere that hires like a larger number of people and there's more people around. Thus, hopefully more kids will be around. Your kids will have other kids to play with, and maybe you're at one of those campgrounds that has the splash pad and the playground and the pond and all that cool stuff that kids like to do. That may be the right environment for you. Or if you're a family that's like more low key and you're like, no, we want to go be remote in a forest with not really anybody around. Okay, cool. Go work for one of the concessionaires operating Forest Service campgrounds in, remote, beautiful parts of the country. And if you don't, if you're not too worried about having cell connection and internet service, you're good to, run a generator and boondock sometimes, then, those opportunities are out there and are for you. So again, just understanding, your personal preferences and what you want to try or what you would be comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. Definitely, go through all of the different job listings that are out there, because work camping is not just working in campgrounds, you guys. There's a big variety of business types and positions that are out there. So if you're like, I don't really want to work in a campground, you totally never have to work in a campground. So anyway, what type of business do you want to work for? What kind of jobs do you want to do? So that's, definitely things to consider. What are you physically capable of, not physically capable of? If someone says you'll be working in a campground office, okay, cool. Is it a low-key office where, you may have a handful of people come in during the day, or is it a park where it's, like I said, it's nonstop? There's kids in there buying ice creams and someone's checking in and someone comes in because the Wi-Fi isn't working and it's kind of nonstop. So there's going to be different environments based on, the business type that it is. And and there are, sales positions. If you're someone who's really into sales, you can get into sales positions. Just lots of different stuff. So are you someone who wants to interact with people, or you'd rather not interact with people? There are different, types of positions that would appeal to those kinds of things. So definitely a lot of considerations. And with work camping, it's pretty cool. You get to try different things. A lot of these positions are going to be anywhere, typically 3 to 6 months is a time frame for a lot of the work camping gigs that are out there. Some are shorter, some are longer, but it's long enough to try something out and be like, yeah, I really liked doing that, or no, I really, don't want to do that again. And you usually have a stopping point, and so then you get to go on and do something else. So that's pretty cool. So what things should I consider before committing to a job? All of those factors, and all of the different questions that you should ask about, RV site compensation. And also, you want to do some due diligence as much as you can. Google the business, read customer reviews about the business. Definitely, if there are work camping reviews out there, try to read those. With our hotline ads, we will link to any work camper experience postings if they exist. Work campers may have posted about it in social media groups. There are very little reviews that work campers write on the jobs they've had, considering how many work campers that are out there. So unfortunately, that's kind of a tougher resource to dig into. But you could ask the employer to connect you with work campers that have worked for them in the past. So you can just, try to get some input from them. What else to consider? I guess just kind of location too. Some folks, when they're starting out work camping, they want to, maybe they take a work camping gig that's close to their home base if they still have a home base. So, they're not too far from their normalcy, and that, is just a little bit more of a comfort factor for them. Or they'll take a location that's nearby to family. So they maybe have some family or a friend support system nearby if they would need them. Consider how far you need to travel to go to that work camping position. Will the cost of gas and potential maintenance and whatnot getting to that position be a hindrance to your budget? You definitely want to, a lot of work campers suggest making that emergency fund, having some funds set away for fixing things that are going to go wrong with your RV, and even a fund of, hey, this work camping job isn't working out and I need to go. I have this little slush fund here that I can utilize to support myself until I can find another position to get started in. So it's always good to try and have a little bit of reserves there, so you can make quicker decisions for yourself if you need to. So yeah, hopefully that kind of gives you somewhat of an idea of some things to consider. I'm gonna pop back over here to this slideshow, you guys. Let's look at whatever last, how do I know if I'm prepared enough? That's kind of hard to answer. It's really going to be, a personal feeling. Hopefully you will go through, like in our media library at workamper.com, we have a lot of videos about interviewing. We talk about what a work agreement is, what should be included and how to ask for one, communicating with your employer in between the time that you accept the position and start the position. So there's less surprises that come up. So I guess making sure to just go through all the educational resources that are out there, and that's going to give you a really solid picture of how do I do this, how do I make this work for me, etc. And I think that will help you. Again, making sure you get all those questions answered from the employer, talking to other work campers that have worked there before, or see if you can connect with any work campers who are working there now or will be going to the work camping position or work camping location as well. And you could try to start a dialogue with them, whether it's on social media or via our member map or something. You could try and connect with other work campers who are going to work for that same employer. So you're, kind of starting to create that community even before you arrive there. Yeah, that's going to be a personal assessment if you feel like you're prepared enough or not. And it's always going to be scary starting anything new. Like, I mean, you're only human. Of course, you're going to have, the fears and stuff. And yes, there are, times where opportunities are not going to work out. You do the interview and get all the information and everything's looking and sounding good. And you go there and maybe there was an ownership change or manager change. And so, this person you built a rapport with is all of a sudden no longer there. And so now you have to build rapport with somebody new. Or you go and the employer starts changing the terms on you. And then it's up to you to decide if you can manage it, try to work with them to compromise on that, or if you need to go because it's no longer going to work for you. Personalities, can change. Of course, we all sell ourselves during, the interview process, employers and work campers. And, more of the true colors come out the longer time you're around people. And sometimes those true colors may not be compatible with you. So they're, coworkers, everything could be perfect about the job. The owners, the managers are great. Your duties are great and everything. But there's these other work campers that are there that are just not. You cannot get along with them and you don't like it and they're, whatever. So that's always going to be something that's going to come up too. So understand you can still do everything right and a situation may still, have some negative aspects to it or will completely turn negative because that's just kind of the nature of things. This whole work camping thing revolves around people, and there are pickle work campers and there are pickle employers. That's just always going to be the case. And so hopefully you can avoid them as best as possible, but understand there, can be some hurdles that you will come upon. So yeah, all right, well, that was probably easily a half an hour, and that was the first slide, and I think we have at least like 10 other slides to go through, so we better get going here. Some of these we kind of answered just after talking about all of those things, but we'll still go through all of these here. Okay, how difficult is it to get the first job? It's gonna depend on what you're looking for. If you are like seeking a manager job, but you've never, been a manager before, it might be a little harder to get that job because you don't have any previous managerial experience. So you'll have to prove more that you are capable of doing that job. But for the most part, most work camping gigs are pretty kind of, entry level positions. You don't need specifically experience in certain things to do these jobs. A lot of probably what you've done maybe in your past career, in your home life, your personal life, have given you a lot of skills that would apply to these different types of positions. Most often it's, just customer service, being willing to communicate, with guests and customers, as a lot of these businesses are in like the outdoor hospitality industry, tourism industry, etc. A lot of the positions you're dealing with people. Some of the positions may require working on a computer. So if you are someone that's, really comfortable surfing the web using, Microsoft products, or you've used certain softwares before, like it'll probably be pretty easy for you to learn how to use a campground reservation software. And once you have, some experience with one piece of software, it's going to be even easier for you to learn how to use other ones, because there's about, I don't know, 20 or 40 or 50 different reservation software programs that are out there now. So most employers are really, at the end of the day, just looking for folks who are upbeat, have a positive attitude. They're willing to be flexible, but to a certain extent, don't let yourself be taken advantage of, but be flexible and willing to try their best, be a team player and put in the best effort possible, and, fulfill the duties and, position as best they can. So it's not super difficult to get that first opportunity, but I know it can feel a little intimidating just starting out. Okay, are there jobs that provide RV site and pay? Yes, definitely. For the most part, the majority of positions do provide RV site and some sort of compensation. So sometimes you are working like X number of hours a week in trade for your RV site, and then any hours over that, you would be paid a certain dollar amount. Sometimes it is, we're going to pay you for every hour worked, and we're giving you the RV site at no cost. Sometimes it is, we're going to pay you for every hour worked, but you're going to pay a fee for your RV site. And again, make sure that's a fair fee. There are, I would say it's less than 20% now. The jobs that are advertised in our system, less than 20% are working in trade for site only with no pay. So the majority of positions are going to be providing you some pay. There are, like I said, there are some sales positions that are out there where you can earn commissions. Sometimes doing the Christmas tree sales tents, pumpkin lots, fireworks, you'll earn sometimes a base amount plus, commissions on sales made for those types of positions. Some positions are salary, 401k, insurance, that's going to be more so in that, like I said, managerial realm, whether it's, travel centers, campgrounds, retail operations, restaurant stores, hotels, motels, lodges. Typically there'll be managerial positions, and sometimes those will have some benefits. Also, some work campers, go to work for an operation. The sugar beet harvest, for example, Express Employment Professionals, that's a hiring agency that works with a couple different sugar companies to do the beet harvest. And so they hire work campers to help with the harvest. The work campers work at the receiving stations, helping the trucks come in, telling them where to pile the beets, sweeping up, beets that fell out of the pile, and running the machinery at the piling site, etc. Anyway, so they've been doing this for years and years and years. Very popular work camping gig, short term, takes place in October, November, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota. Anyway, many work campers, all right, the staff now that's working with Express, because I communicate a lot with them, quite a few of the people on the Express staff are work campers who worked the sugar beet harvest for maybe multiple seasons in a row and just really fell in love with this opportunity. And now they're part of the Express staff talking and working with the applicants to get, the work campers hired. So you may find an opportunity that you totally fall in love with, whether it's the company, the job itself, or whatever, and you want to move up and do more with that company. There's certainly going to be opportunities sometimes for that kind of thing. So there are a lot of work campers out there who say, oh, you can't make a living on work camping, but that's, you can't make a blanket statement like that because everybody's situation is different. You know, if you're coming into the lifestyle and you have a lot of debt and you're, you know, making a payment on your RV and your car and insurance and health insurance and all these other things, then yes, you know, a $12 an hour position, even if it does provide you an RV site so you don't have as much living costs, you know, that still may be hard to make ends meet. But there are positions that are out there that pay more, like $20, even up to $30 an hour, like I said, especially getting into that managerial realm. So it's going to depend. If you're someone that has no debt and you have a pension or Social Security or residual income because you have rental properties or you're running a small business on the side or whatever it is, you know, you have more flexibility there to take different jobs with different types of compensation, and you don't necessarily have to get hours paid for all hours worked. So it's really different for everybody. You can't make a lot of blanket statements about work camping anymore, just because of the variety of people that are involved and the variety of opportunities that are out there. So hopefully you are able to find something that works for you in the place that you want to be. Okay. Here was a question here: advice for negotiating the salary, etc. So with some of these positions, you may be able to negotiate some things. You know, if the majority of the details check your boxes, but there's a few things that don't, you can always ask to have those items revised in a way that hopefully benefits both parties. So, you know, it can be more of a win for you. But it's just going to depend on the employer and you know, the flexibility that they have with their business. So one thing that you want to make sure to do first is just to research other similar opportunities in the same area. So if you feel like maybe the position that's being offered, the compensation is not quite enough, make sure to see if there are other employers in a similar area. If they're paying more, then you can utilize those as some examples of why, you know, you would like to be paid more for that same position, because other employers are offering that kind of thing nearby. So, you know, for them to be more competitive, it would be great if they paid similarly to, you know, the other same operations in their area that are hiring for the same kind of jobs. But again, also make sure you first have a clear picture of what that compensation is. So if you are being provided an RV site, you know what the value of that RV site is, what the value is of all those, you know, non-monetary perks that we talked about before. So make sure you have that full picture first before you say that's not enough for me, kind of thing. And it could be you're negotiating maybe your schedule. Like if you're like, well, I always want to have 2 days off in a row, or I always want this certain day of the week off, or, you know, a certain schedule, like maybe your parents, and so one of you needs to work a day shift while the other works a night shift, so somebody's always home with the kids, or whatever it is. You know, again, that's going back to making sure you understand what it is you need budget-wise, lifestyle-wise, etc. So making sure you have a clear picture of that. And like I said, just knowing what else is happening in the area in that same industry so you can compare and contrast to others. Once you do that, you may be like, oh, well, this is kind of typical for this kind of position. So honestly, I would go and just kind of Google negotiating tips, and you're going to find some great articles that give you some good tips. Just, you know, try to remain likable in the process. Don't be like demanding about it or throwing out ultimatums. You know, that could kind of make them recoil back, and you know, if they don't like you, they're definitely not going to be as willing and flexible to work with you. Also, you want to make sure that they understand why you are maybe asking for more or for something different than what was initially laid out. Make sure you're giving them an understandable, you know, reason for that. You know, well, based on, you know, these skills that I have from this prior thing that I've done, I feel I'm a pretty, you know, overqualified or qualified candidate to do this successfully, or I have a track record at, you know, this other job. I did this and improved it exponentially in this way, and I can show you that here. So, I am a higher value candidate, so I believe I deserve this amount because of that. Or, like I said, I need this sort of schedule to better accommodate my kids. You don't, want me to have my kids home by themselves for part of the day, right? So giving them an understandable reason for why you are asking those things. Don't just list them out and say, this is what I want. They need to understand why you want those things and why you would deserve those things. So just making sure you're clear about that. And also, right now, there is a bit of a market where there are, more job opportunities than there are people taking jobs. And that's true in Workamping as well as kind of the general hiring market. But try not to, use that too flippantly. Well, if you're not going to accept this, then I'll just go somewhere else. Then they might be like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and do that then. If they feel like they're not going to be able to get you, then they're not going to go to the effort of trying to get you, so try not to be too flippant about that. And just also understand, if there are constraints. Maybe they're hiring multiple work campers at one time, and all those work campers might need to start at the same baseline, because you're all starting at the same time doing kind of the same thing. You're not, it might depend on the operation too. If it's a bigger like amusement park or something, you going in and being like, I can really run this ride better than other people. I deserve more money for running this ride than this person that's starting at the same time and doing the same thing. You're not probably likely going to negotiate like $1 higher running rides in an amusement park, than the guy next to you helping you run the ride. So some operations, there's just not going to be wiggle room on that kind of thing. But you might be able to, even if you can't negotiate what like the hourly rate is, maybe there's some flexibility for some other perks or some bonuses. And that's maybe not so much in the amusement park example, but maybe in like a smaller kind of mom and pop operation. If you're like, look, I'd really like to come, but we're 1,800 miles away and gas is pretty steep, so it would be challenging for me to afford to come to your operation. Would you be willing to provide a travel bonus, to help us with some funds in getting to your operation, so we can get started without any hassle or delay? So again, you're asking for something of value, providing a good reason why you need that. So there may be some flexibility there. You might be able to get some bonuses, or if they're not offering free laundry but you would like to have free laundry, you could try to work that out, etc. So you may be able to play with some of the perks and bonuses and things like that, even if you can't get any flexibility on the actual like wage amount. So and something too is practicing. If you have a little bit of time, but before the next time you're going to talk to that employer, practice with a friend. Be like, hey, I want to see what I would say, or pretend you're an employer and think about what you might ask me and stuff, and just try to practice and kind of think ahead of time about what you want to say. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of advice. Again, I'm sure the internet's also full of advice, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there wanting to share more tips and stuff on negotiating for salary. Okay, next up here. This person says, I want to proactively search for paying Workamping jobs near Page, Arizona for 2024. Very specific. It's good. Is there a way to research employers that advertised with Workamper News last year? Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit. I'm going to pop over back to our internet browser. So here at workamper.com, the main avenue now that employers utilize to run jobs is our hotline system. So new job listings are posted to the hotline every weekday. So I'll give you a little more details about that on a second. in a second. We also have the online magazine. So we produced the online magazine for like 35 years. You may have, seen some issues. Maybe somebody gave you one or whatever. We did discontinue this last year. Like I said, we are revamping the website. And so discontinuing the magazine was just kind of one step in our revamp. We wanted to make it easier for work campers to review the job listings. If the job listings are coming into one online avenue, we give you multiple ways to search on it. You're searching all the jobs. You can search all the jobs at once. You don't have to open each issue of the magazine and scroll and read ads, and it's just too cumbersome to search and look at, and you'd have to look at the magazine and the hotline, and it's just too much. It was too confusing, etc. So for the magazine lovers out there, I'm sorry, we did discontinue it. Just we're trying to make things easier for everybody. But this archive is full of job listings, and a lot of the employers that become members with us are members with us. We've had some that have been around for 30 years now. So if the business is still in business, it is likely that they still hire work campers. So I would definitely go back through past issues, especially if you're looking for a specific location or a specific type of job. Then look back through past issues. If the contact information that's in the ad doesn't work, just Google the company, try to find a different contact point to contact them and see if they have any work camper hiring needs. So you can check out the online magazine for past job listings as well. We also have our featured employers, which there's not a button for here on this dashboard, but if you go to Work Camping, menu item, featured employers, anybody can visit this page. It's open to any visitor of our website. These are a handful of employers that have just made nicer little website pages giving you more information about the work camping jobs, so you can check out those featured employers. We also occasionally do jobinars, which is a webinar like this where an employer comes on and says, here are all the details about my jobs, come work for us. So we do jobinars. Sometimes you'll see us advertising those. The recordings of those are in the media library. So we definitely have a few different avenues for you to check out to look at the employers that are advertising. We also do a weekly podcast called The Work Camper Show. You can go to workampershow.com. That's our website for the podcast. Or if you listen to podcasts in a streaming app, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever, just search for Work Camper Show, and our show will come up. You can subscribe and get new episodes. Not so much during the summer because employers are so busy, but we do interview employers and they talk about the jobs that they have available. It's just been a little while. So here's one talking about the beet harvest. We have Trophy Gardens talking about working there. We're camping at a New Mexico ranch. So you can find out about work camping jobs and the details of them from our podcast as well. So we encourage you to listen to that. But you'll also hear, of course, from work campers who are living the lifestyle, as well as some folks in the, just RV community. Like this week's episode is with the tax queen, Heather Ryan. She's going to talk about, tax returns and tax issues and stuff that work campers deal with. So really great resource here for you guys to listen to and check out. So, okay. Getting back more specifically about the job listings. So here's our hotline jobs page. New job listings each weekday. The ads stay on the website page for 14 days. At the end of each day, we take all of the new ads that were submitted, compile them into an email, and email them out to our members. So our Diamond and Platinum members, you guys get the new ads that were just posted today. Gold members get ads posted 7 days ago. Free intro members, you get the ads posted 14 days ago. So right now, you can build your own ad archive. So within your email inbox, you can make a folder or multiple folders to organize those hotline jobs emails into. Then you can utilize the search function within your email inbox, to do some keyword searches. So you can search for Page, Arizona or Arizona, etc., to try to find those opportunities. If you are a diamond or a platinum member, let me point this out. We'll go back to the dashboard. So we do job alert emails as well. And so you can turn on job alert emails for the states you're most interested in working in. So, you know, if I wanted to be in Colorado next summer, I'm going to come in here and be sure to turn on Colorado. So anytime we post a new job listing for Colorado, we will email that complete job listing to your email inbox. You don't even have to visit our website to find it. So that's another way to kind of organize and create a little archive of job listings. If you turn on these job alerts, you'll have each ad by state, where the daily hotline jobs email with all the listings will have usually multiple states in one email, you know. So, so this person who asked this question about Page, Arizona, if you want to look at ads that are older than 14 days, you'll need to go into your email inbox and search through those hotline listings that are there in your email inbox. Now, on the new version of workamper.com that we are working on behind the scenes, we're going to have a similar thing where the new job listings will all be, you know, on one page and you can search and sort them, but you'll be able to save them to your own saved section that you'll have on the website. And in that saved section, you'll be able to create categories. You can name those categories however you want to name them. Then you can organize those job listings into your different categories. And as long as you keep your membership active, you will have access to that saved job listings section. Pretty cool. But for right now, it is a little more manual, but we're working on it. But with our job listings here, we require employers to answer certain questions in addition to providing their, you know, ad text. So this allows for work campers to do a lot more finite searching of the job listings to more likely find the ones that are going to be a match. So this person who is looking for Arizona can come in here and say, give me Arizona, and compensation wise, I need an RV site, and I want all hours paid, or maybe I just want some hours paid, or if you just want to work only in trade for a site and not have monetary wages, you could check for no compensation. You can come in here and pick like when you want to start the job. So if she was looking for 2024, you know, if she wanted to do April or May or whatever it is, select that. If she was a solo work camper, she could check the box to then only see the job listings where solos are considered. So you can, you know, select multiple states if you want to. So multiple different ways to do searches here. Obviously, the more criteria you plug in, that's going to be, you know, offer you less results. Yeah, we can go ahead and do this search here. I'll just leave solos considered checked. So this was just Arizona RV site, all hours paid. So right now there's 7 job listings that meet the criteria that we entered. And like I said, you can see that quickly here with each job listing. RV site available for a fee. In this case, this one also offers housing for a fee. All hours are paid. The job starts in July. In Callium, you have multiple more start dates. And here's something else that I was telling you guys about. So view Workamper experience postings. If we click on this, it's going to go right to our Workamper experiences section, which is where work campers can go in and say, I worked for this specific employer and this is how it went. Good, bad, in between, whatever. So once you complete a position, we really hope you will come into the Workamper experiences section and post about your experience. So then when you are researching opportunities, there's, you know, if everybody does that, there's a lot more reviews to read and look at and get information on. So Callium has multiple properties, so we can click on that. We can see that it was posted by this person and when it was posted. This person approved in showing their email address with their review. So now I could contact this person and say, hey, I see you worked for Fortuna de Oro and Sundance. You know, would you mind, could we have a phone call? Could I ask you more about how that went, etc. So that's a way to connect you with work campers who have worked for that employer before. It's the same thing with the Praise Your Employer Awards. This is a tool that's going away. It's not a rating system, but it confuses people. You can add a star award for an employer that you worked for, that you had a good experience with, and you can choose to show your email address or not with that star award. So like this one, the email is hidden, so I can't contact that Workamper to see how it went. But this is just another way that you can, connect with Workampers who worked for that before. And you won't find this anywhere else. There's not anywhere else that's linking reviews right with help wanted ads for employers. So that's definitely something that sets us apart. So not only do we have the largest quantity of listings, but we provide the most information to go with the different job listings that are out there. So okay, hopefully that gives you an idea of how to kind of dig into some help wanted advertising that's out there in our hotline system and our online magazine. And yeah, fun stuff. Feel free to contact us. I know that was kind of a quick download of stuff there on how to use our website, but you can contact our office anytime. We're happy to kind of walk you guys through some stuff. Okay, next slide here. Are there lots of jobs for couples? Yes. Definitely. If you are looking in the campground arena for work camping gigs, a lot of campgrounds, RV resorts, state parks, county parks, Corps of Engineer parks, whatever parks, like having couples come in because they get two work campers for one RV site. Instead of two work campers, they're giving up two sites, So yes, there are lots of jobs for couples. On the flip side, how do I find jobs for solos? I travel with my disabled husband. When I inquire, most ask both partners to work. So I would say if you are only utilizing other resources other than ours to find work camping gigs, you are more limited to mostly just campgrounds. And yes, I would say if you're only utilizing those other sources, those are more so, we are seeking a couple, we are seeking a couple, we are seeking a couple. I see that more in the other things that are out there online. In our system, and this is something that I track every month, it's anywhere from like 72 to 85% of the job listings coming into the hotline indicate solos are considered. So whether or not that means they will for sure hire you, we don't know, we can't say. We're just trying to help you guys more quickly narrow these down. But as you saw on the hotline jobs page, we have that solos considered box. So you can check that box to then only view the listings where the employer indicated that solos would be considered. So you are a solo if you are traveling, by yourself, or in this person's situation, there are two humans in the household, but only one of those humans is going to be seeking the work camping position. And, that's fine at a lot of places. You want to, you would advertise yourself as a solo work camper, but be sure to say, hey, there are other humans in my RV, whether it be one or, one and some kids, you don't want any surprises. So don't, hide what your RV household is or what your RV is, because you want to make sure wherever you're going is going to be okay with who you are, and what you have. So we know a lot of successful solos. It may take a little more work, especially if you are looking for like a specific location, and I for sure need all hours paid in an RV site and other perks. I need all of these things, and oh, I have a 42-foot RV with a trailer, or oh, I'm in a pop-up, or oh, I can only work 3 days a week because I'm doing this other thing on the side. Like if you kind of have some, other stipulations, which is fine. I'm not saying any of those things are wrong. I'm just saying those are things that, like I said, add some stipulations that will make it, narrow things down a little bit more. There won't be as much available to you because of those kinds of things. So you want to be more proactive and, keeping that resume active year round, watching those hotline jobs coming in all the time, because you guys never know when that perfect job is going to come up. Like I said, some employers will start recruiting 6 months before they want their work campers to start. Some will 2 months before, some 2 years before. So you never know when that right job is going to be advertised, or that right employer is going to be searching the resume database and pulling up resumes. That's why we have yearly memberships, because this is an ongoing process. It's not, oh, I found my job and I'm done. Like, you want to keep it going year round, especially if you have some specifics or uniqueness to you that needs to be accommodated. So I would definitely just keep working at it, you know, use our system, go to that hotline jobs page and narrow things down to those solos considered positions. And I think you'll find more success that way. Okay, this person says, my husband is a singer. Do locations hire for this? Rarely. There are a few that, you know, and it's going to be places that are like themey, I guess. So maybe it's like a historical society or a Western town or something, and they do, you know, shows or gunfights or whatever. Or maybe it's like a bigger resort with activities that take place a lot, and they do concerts pretty often on their property. So it'd be, you know, they'd like to have a singer around all the time to provide the entertainment, you know, for their activity evenings. So there's a few out there, but it's pretty rarely advertised. But I would look towards, you know, like I said, amusement parks, amusement facilities, theme parks, or places that have activity centers, maybe restaurants, bars, and you might be able to set up, like, even if you just went and found a work camping job that was in a static location, you might be able to go around to, you know, coffee shops, bars, restaurants, check in with the Chamber of Commerce in whatever, you know, town or place that you're going to be at for a while, and ask them to, you know, connect you with businesses that they think may have, you know, open mic nights or hire, you know, musical guests. And the city, you know, the towns itself may have events that take place that they provide at, like, you know, the local park or the downtown or whatever, little festivals and things like that that have music artists. VFW locations will often have musicians playing. So yeah, definitely lots of opportunities there, but it may not specifically be, oh, this employer has hired me to sing in trade for an RV site, you know, kind of thing. Okay, another question here, how do I find general remote work? So to me, this would be I'm gonna sit down at my computer and all the work that I do is done on my computer and I can do it anywhere I am. So those types of positions are very rarely advertised to the work camping community, just because it doesn't matter, you know. A remote worker could be in an RV, could be in an apartment, could be in a house, could be anywhere. As long as they're getting the work done, it's fine. So there's no need for them to specifically advertise to the work camping community. They're going to use the services like Indeed.com or like workremote.com, or if you just Google like remote jobs, you'll find these big websites that are out there, and that's what most employers are going to utilize because they want to advertise to a wider audience than just our little, you know, work camping niche. There have been a few, and they were like RV related businesses. Like there's an entity that sells people's RVs for them. So in essence, they're like realtors for RVs. And so they, you know, get the pictures and the information and put it on their website and try to sell an RV for someone who wants to sell their RV. So they were looking for help. And a couple entities, I think like RV Life, wanted some, you know, remote customer service people. And so there have been a couple over the years. CoachNet, I think, once advertised for folks. So those are RV specific businesses. So they were looking specifically for RVers to work for them, but very rarely are these types of positions advertised. And if you do see those types of positions advertised, especially on like social media or an always free website, just be really, really cautious. Because on those open, anybody can use sites, it's very easy for spammers to get in there, write up a fake ad, you know, and set up a system where they're going to try to, you know, steal your identity and get your information. So just be really cautious in proceeding on those types of opportunities, and make sure to, you know, check out the business entity pretty well ahead of time. Never send your, you know, driver's license information, social security information and stuff, like never send that via email or whatever. It's not safe. Okay. Couple more slides here, guys. We're getting close. Okay. This person says, I was just fired with no grounds and am wondering how to handle the situation. So this is very little information here to go on, so we can really only, you know, talk in some generalities. But if the position was in an at-will employment state, then they don't have to have grounds to fire you. They can just fire you if they want to. So depends on the state that you're in. If you are not receiving wages that you are owed, then I would recommend talking to the Department of Labor and filing a claim with them, whether it be the federal or usually it's the state. You go to the state Department of Labor and communicate with them to try and file a claim to try and get your money. If it maybe wasn't an at-will employment state, or there was, you know, more going on and you feel you have the justification for some kind of lawsuit, you could find an employment attorney, employment law attorney to speak with to see if you have a case and would want to go after that employer for whatever. I am not an attorney. I don't know, you know, all of the legalities and things like that, what would justify a case, what wouldn't justify a case. I would, of course, get, you know, update your resume or get your resume created and out there working for you. Be diving into the job listings to find something else, either nearby or go somewhere else to start working. So definitely make sure you're amping up that, you know, job finding process to find, you know, something else if you, you know, need to move on to something pretty quickly. Depending on the situation, how long you were there, what actually happened, you know, you need to decide if you want to still include that job on your resume and your history or not. It's going to depend. If you do end up with a gap in your work history when you're communicating with new employers, they may ask, hey, why was there a gap? And then you'll just need to know what you're going to say about it. You know, when communicating with future employers, if they do ask about it, you know, try to remove as much emotion as you can from the situation and just, you know, state the facts as clearly as possible. And, you know, not turn it into too long of a story. They may not, you know, they don't need to know all the details. But a lot of times with work camping, you know, a lot of work campers will work a couple months, take a couple months off, or work a year, take a year off. So gaps in work history is a little more typical with work camping than in the traditional job career realm. So there's, you know, oftentimes less questions asked with that kind of thing. Post about your experience. Like we talked about at workamper.com, we have the Workamper reviews section. So you can go in there, read the instructions that are provided, and then, you know, write up what your experience was. So that way it's out there for other work campers to find, or you can, you know, post about it on social media and stuff. I would just be cautious, you know, not to include specific names. Like I said, try to just clearly state the facts, what it was that you experienced. Don't, you know, give a recollection of what you think others saw or what you think others heard or what you think others thought. It needs to just be your first person experience. Yeah, I mean, that's a total bummer. Like, I'm sorry that happened. You know, without any details, it's really hard to give any more specifics than that, but hopefully you can move on and find something that's going to be, you know, a better opportunity for you. Okay, next question here. This was more, specific to Workamper News and us. Will you do the Workamper Rendezvous again? And so the Workamper Rendezvous is something we did from 2010 to 2019. We hosted it for a couple years. We did it in April and October. Then we just did it in October because that was the higher attended of the two events each year. It's a small conference event, usually about 200 or so folks that come in, and we get expert speakers in the RV and work camping community and really go into details about, RV maintenance and taxes and preparing for this lifestyle and types of RVs. And we might, get into insurances and technology on the road and just all kinds of, domicile and just try to cover as many topics as we can about the RV and work camping lifestyle. Sometimes we have employers that participate to share about the different jobs that they have available. So, and we'll do meals and like networking events kind of things, etc. So it's a great time. We really love doing it. It's a lot of work for us to get all the speakers organized and all the catering and the facilities and getting the website going and all the tickets and the orders and answering the questions and marketing it and everything. So it's just really a lot of work. There's 5 of us here on staff, 1 gal's part-time. So since we've been working on the redesign of workamper.com, of course, it was only supposed to take a year, but we're now a year and a half in and we're still not done. So because that has taken longer, that's pushed back us being able to focus on doing a rendezvous again. So anyway, the answer to the question is yes, I hope so, but I don't know when. Maybe 2024 at the earliest, but it's going to kind of depend on how things go. So sorry, I don't have a more definitive answer for you, but workamperevent.com is the website that we do utilize for the event. So right now it's just got a generic, sorry, we're not doing the event. Obviously we stopped doing them because of the whole COVID thing initially. And then it's just been too crazy since then. So workamperevent.com, you can watch that website, or, if you're a member and follow our social media or hotline, we will make it very well known when we're going to do rendezvous again. Okay, last question here, an RV lifestyle question. Winegard is installed in my RV. How do I connect it to my TV? I personally do not know. There's not enough information here either. Do you just have the little plate on your ceiling that says Winegard, or do you actually have the receiver device already? So there's kind of, more questions there that we would need the answers to before even, finding more step-by-step instructions. So I would recommend contacting them directly. So I just Googled Winegard, it's winegard.com, and went to their contact us page. So they have a phone number and an email address. I would give them a call or send them an email and say, hey, how do I get support for connecting my device? They'll probably want to know, what device it is, if you're looking for satellite TV or internet, or what, services specifically you're looking for. So since there's kind of a lot of different factors there, in my research, it didn't seem like there was a really straightforward. It was all about which device do you have and So that's a little more complicated question than I can handle. I'm sorry about that. But hopefully, Winegard can get you pointed in the right direction. They may suggest you go to a dealership to get assistance. Perhaps there's a mobile RV technician in your area that has the capabilities and know-how of those systems. You can try, finding a YouTube video, but again, it's probably going to be, a little more specific to your actual devices and stuff. So yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit, but I'm sorry I can't be more specific there. As an RVer, we haven't used a Winegard system yet. Each of our RVs, I think, has had the hookups for it, but we ourselves have never used that service for internet or TV. So sorry about that. Okay, that was all the questions, guys. A few of you have hung in. I appreciate that. Hopefully we covered a lot of bases for you. But again, if you're ready to dig in and get more, definitely check out workamper.com. It's our online home. lots of job listings, lots of educational resources. But again, our goal is to help you guys be successful. So please feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, we're in office. We're a small team here. We're based in Central Arkansas in Heber Springs. And we're here 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. You can send us an email to support@workamper.com. We answer emails. Sometimes I do on the weekends because I'm addicted. So yeah, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you guys. And hopefully this work camping thing, you know, with enough information, if you decide it's right for you, you can move forward and really be successful at it. So we didn't have anything typed in here as I was going through everything. So hopefully I covered quite a bit of information in the questions that were submitted. But yeah, reach out to us if you guys come up with any other questions. So, all right, well, thanks everybody. We wish you safe travels and happy work camping.